a key word in describing the twin 125s at the Daytona International Speedway, and we have one more to come with names like Yarborough, Allison, and Petty, so stay tuned. This, of course, only one of many CBS Sports, USA Sports events that you can look forward to in the weeks and months ahead. We will have more racing from Daytona, and we will also continue our coverage of the PGA Tour with the first and second round of the Masters, as well as the second round of the TPC, and more events. But before you look forward to that, look forward to the Daytona 500 Sunday right from here on CBS Sports. Upcoming, the second Twin 125 from the Daytona International Speedway, and we'll get to that right after these messages coast to coast on USA. The second 125-mile qualifying race for Sunday's $1 million Daytona 500 is now on the track. And let's take a look at the starting lineup. Remember, 14 cars will qualify from this event. Jeff Bodine is on the pole. Now, he already has secured a position. He was the second fastest pole position qualifying day. But he must start this race, and he for sure will be out here to try to work out any bugs in car number 88. Then Neil Bonnet, who won the Clash, starts right beside him. In row number 2, it's Richard Petty in number 43. And Richard Brooks is suited up again. In retirement for several years, he's back. In the third row, it is Tim Richmond of Ashland, Ohio, and Lake Speed driving the car Buddy Baker drove a year ago. He could be a real surprise. Row 4 is Rusty Wallace and Sterling Marlin. Going to row 5, Benny Parsons, who won this race back in 1975, and Jody Ridley in a brand new car. Row 6 is Mark Martin, and comes Lenny Pond on the outside of row 6. Going to row 7, Morgan Shepherd and Bosco Lowe. Then in row 8, it is Bill Scott and Cale Yarborough, who turned a lap at over 200 miles an hour and then turned over on the outside of row 8. Tom Sneva, the great IndyCar champion, starts on the inside of row 9. Terry Labonte's scheduled the next position, but Labonte's car is being pushed back. He's having trouble getting started. What a misfortune for the Billy Hagan car, number 44. Going to row 10, Rick Wilson of Bartow, Florida, and Bobby Hillen Jr. out of Midland, Texas. He's only 18 years old, that Hillen. In row 11 is Ronnie Hopkins and Travis Pillar. Then in row 12, Bobby Allison. Misfortune has haunted him all week. He has destroyed 2 automobiles, working his third car. But look out for him now. Then beside him is Jim Sauter. In the 13th row, Rick Newsom and Jimmy Smut Means out of Alabama. Row 14 is Darrell Sage and Slick Johnson. Going to the 15th row, Bobby Wolack of Villa Park, Illinois, and Rick Baldwin. In row 16 is Robbie Sanders and Joe Milliken. 17th row, Mike Kempton and Jerry Bowman. And in the 18th row, it is Alan J. West and Lowell Howell. They are saying 2 to green, 2 laps, and they will send this field away. Now, a couple of things to watch in this race. Number 1 will be Lake Speed in the car number 1. He really feels that he can make an impression in this event. It'll be interesting to see if he can pull it off. That car won one of these 125-mile races a year ago with Buddy Baker at the keyboard. Tim Richmond with a brand new team this year. He'll be driving a red and yellow number 27, and there's an interesting story in Tim Richmond because he comes here with a brand new team. Raymond Beadle, 6-time World Drag Racing champion, the Blue Max, has turned to stock car racing, and he starts up in front. He'll be moving from the 5th position. A young man from Ashland, Ohio, who is a former Rookie of the Year at the Indianapolis 500. Of course, Richard Petty. He's had 41 races without a win. Let's go to Ned Jarrett standing by in the pit.
Yeah, we're in Terry Labonte's pit. Part of his crew is here. Most of them are up there trying to get that car number 44 cranked. They say it just simply will not start. They don't know the reason why, but they're checking everything on it to see if they can get it started before this race gets the green flag.
A major story in this race will be Richard Petty. Now, Richard Petty has gone through 41 races without a victory. The longest dry spell he had before was 45 races. And then he turned it all around and won the Daytona 500, 1979. There's the field, another lap precautionary before they start. That 75 car on the outside is the Raymox racing team, the Warner Hodgson entry, and that's Neil Bonnet. And in the Clash, that $220,000 50-mile, 20-lap race, this car number 75 came from the last row, from 15th position to win it in the most dramatic Clash in 5-year history. Look out for Neil Bonnet. That is a pistol cocked and ready to fire in car number 75. Now there you see that 1,600-foot area that comes out of the tri-oval and leads to turn number 1, and it's very deceptive in there, David Hobbs. It certainly is, especially on a blustery day like today. We've had 125 miles of racing already, so there is a bit of a racing groove down. But still, these guys haven't had a lot of practice this week. The weather's been so poor, there's been so much rain, and most of them, of course, haven't had any practice in the draft yet, which, of course, is what all this NASCAR racing is about. And so we're going to see a lot of finding positions. Still back is Terry Labonte's car up. He has a brand new crew chief this year. Dale Inman has taken over in that car. They lost the car in the clash. It was destroyed in a three-car shot. He was trying for the lead when Bonnet went for first place in the last lap. He moved the Darrell Waltrip car up a bit, and there was no room for Terry Labonte on the outside, and the car was destroyed in the wall just a few days ago. And that's one of the reasons, of course, why Dale Earnhardt got fined $10,000, because he laid smoke and oil all over Terry Labonte, mainly Winston. What a story in car number 88. The man on the pole for this race, Jeff Bodine. That car was a red and white number 50 a few days ago. But Bill Stokely has come back to sponsor that car, and number 88 comes out in brand new attire for the Daytona 500 and for the entire 30-race, $8.5 million Winston Cup Series. The second Uno 125-mile qualifying race looks for green with Jeff Bodine, who started racing at 5 years of age in Chemung, New York, where his dad owned the racetrack, and he drove in those little mini cars. He's won over 500 races. Don't discount Bodine from the pole. Right beside him, one of the members of the Alabama gang, Neil Bonnet. And then in row 2, Richard Petty and Richard Brooks. Down to the line they come. And the green is on. Jumped right up there in the second spot, and he and Jeff Bodine have already pulled out another 6-car gap on the rest of the pack. They're all jumping position side by side, slowing themselves down. Neil Bonnet is in third, and riding fourth is Tim Richmond. They are 3 wide coming off that banking. Come around to complete lap number 1. Bodine first, Petty second, Bonnet third, side by side for fourth. On the inside, it is Tim Richmond. Outside is Lake Speed. Lake Speed in the Hart Ellington car. Now Richmond on the inside goes to fourth. Bobby Allison begins to make his moves. Allison is beginning to cut up through traffic in a hurry. And Cale Yarborough finding his way up and on back. There he is, screaming through automobiles. There you see going by Rusty Wallace, former Midwestern champion, getting trapped. He's caught in there. That's Ricky Rudd directly in front of him in car number 2. And for a moment, 28 has no place to go. That was Mark Martin in car number 2, who trapped Cale Yarborough, who had a fantastic tracking early on in the week. After trouble in the trioval, we have a car losing an engine. Car number 46 coming unglued. Travis Tiller's car coming into the trioval. Slowing down, and does it bring out a caution? It does not, at least to the moment. Track is clear. He's on the inside. It's Bodine in front, Petty in second. With a tremendous lead in the third spot, Neil Bonnet is running completely on his own, so therefore with no draft, he can only slip backwards unless he's got a lot of horsepower. And then behind him there's a tremendous jostle for fourth through 44. Tom Sneaver, the Indy driver, who want to get back on the track. He's fun coming to the trioval. I don't know what happened as they were under caution already. Unless somebody slowed up very abruptly in front of him. And Sneaver rests almost down at turn number 1, but the incident which brought out the caution is on the back straightaway. There is the Travis Tiller car, number 46, idling around the track. I was about to say, would this be the race that broke that record of Cale Yarborough in 1970 of an average speed of 183 miles per hour? But this caution terminates any hope for a record here today, and that old 1970 record has withstood its 26th challenge. Well, let's see what we can find out from this race as we look at replay at how it all began. Here's the first incident, parked now off the second turn. There we you see him spinning out of that notorious second turn. Strong wind blowing in there today. We don't know quite how it started, but we see the two cars sliding across that muddy ground. Very lucky here that they weren't turned over in that extremely soft ground. Appearing in a cloud of spray and mud and sand and sliding down. Well, there you see the cars in the first instance. Now let's take a look and see if we can find out what happened to Tom Sneva out here. Here we see them coming through the tri-oval. And it looks like Sneva just got his bottom wheel. The left position of the line is Neil Bonnet, while in the fourth spot is Tim Richmond, and going fifth, car number 90. That is the junior Don Levy Ford of Richard Brooks of Richmond out of Porterville, California. Back in the 16th position is Bobby Allison. Allison in car number 22. This is Wade Wilson back in as he started the race in 23rd. Green is out. Bodine leading the pack into the first turn with Richard Petty's Pontiac right there in second place. Waiting in a Chevrolet this year. Neil Bonnet drove a Ford a year ago, and that Chevy number 75 maintaining that third position. There you see the front five cars as they come back to full speed. Flashing down the back straightaway into turn number 3. Bodine in front. Let's watch Bobby Allison as he continues his assault. He's already knocked down the Dick Trickle car. Here he comes after that black automobile of Rick Wilson. He is up to 15th position. He is fighting for 15th at the present time. Number 22, Allison. Bobby Allison has had two terrible crashes here. One in the Busch Clash, and then one after that in practicing for the Daytona 500. Morgan Shepherd out there in the 02. The 62 car, Rick Wilson. There's your leader, Jeff Bodine. Jeff Bodine in the lead, and here's Richard Petty taking a look at first place. Will he take a shot? He does. Petty going to first spot and going on the list. Richard Petty once again leading in his favor back. Allison going through cars once again, takes out 3 more. He was 16th when the green came out after that caution period, and he continues to sweep the field. Bobby Allison in car number 22. From the back, trying to get a good qualifying position. Down the inside through the tri-oval and into turn number 1 and 2. Well, he's Ryan Richmond making his move to third. He's lying in 12th spot now, but he's all on his own. And there's 5 cars in the lead run. Then there's another 7 cars. And Bobby Allison is following right behind that one. Back to turn 3, the leaders. There's Bobby Allison now by himself, midway down the back straightaway. 12th position for car number 22, Allison. Leaders, turn 4. Petty, Bonnet. Bodine, 3rd. Richmond, 4th. 5th, Richard Brooks. Brooks with a rock that Joey Ridley had 1 year ago. 6th position is Lake Speed. Moving to 7th position is Mark Martin. 17 car says goodbye. Sterling Marlin. Sterling Marlin on pit road. Father Suku Marlin had a lot. His father nearly won this race one time, 125-mile qualifier, and thought the white flag was the checkered flag and slowed up a lap early and said goodbye to that one. I would see the lead 2 cars, Richard Petty leading Neil Bonnet here. They've got a bit of breathing room over the third place car. Back to third group. Okay, pounding them down. Lake Speed back in 6th. Martin is in 7th. Going 8th is Benny Parsons. 9th, Dale Yarborough. Here comes that group of cars, and there you see Lake Speed leading it. Dale Yarborough in the number 28 car. Remember, he lost the car at over 200 miles an hour in qualifying for the Daytona 500. Upside down and backwards into the wall, and 4 hours later, A.J. Foyt gave him another car, and he ran it in the Clash. He's been running strong all week. The 2-time Daytona 500 winner. There's Richard Hine, third spot, right down the 2 leaders. Having a bit of a go there, Neil Bonnet. He came to the good to turn 3 and 4 over the double A. You can see those cars shaking back as they go to that lead run. There's the second group. 15 laps, 37 miles completed. They come across the start finish line. And there you see part of the crowd out on a cold, dark Okay, and into the pit comes Bobby Allison, number 22. He's used up 2 cars already this week. Bobby Allison there to Larry Newbert.
Near as we can tell, we were just beginning to talk with Gary Nelson. As near as we can tell, this is a routine and planned pit stop. They have no choice in the matter here today. Allison has to charge from lap number 1 to lap number 50. As you pointed out, he has to finish as high as he possibly can. They're changing left side rubber. They have topped off the tank. They definitely plan on going the rest of the distance now after they get out of pit this time. Now they made a late decision. They're going to put the car up on the right side. This is a lengthy pit stop, Ken. I think it's going to be very costly for Bobby Allison and Gary Nelson.
Allison going 1 lap down. Bobby Allison, the number 22, going a lap down. 34 laps to go. 16 complete. Petty in front.
Well, that was the most extraordinary pit stop for a man like Bobby Allison and that crew, because they really just completely took a massive chance, I think, of coming in this early on the green. All it needs now is a caution, and everybody else will make their pit stop and he'll stay that lap down.
In front class, Neil Park in just 20 laps. Came from 15th. Whoa, Petty way high in 3 and 4. And on the last lap, car number 75 made a shot down the back foot under Waltrip and won the class. There's Park just resting in second. Trouble on the back straightaway. Car number 88 has hit the wall.
That is just so nice. In a very dangerous place there, right in the middle of the back straight.
I believe that's Darrell Sage's car. Darrell Sage midway down the back straightaway. Darrell Sage's car has come to rest midway down the back straightaway, tries to get it fired, field coming by. Boy, the second turn is taking its toll out here in these twin 125-mile qualifiers.
It seems to be giving the people running from the midfield on down most of the problem. But the big problem here now is poor old Bobby Allison just had that 36-second pit stop on the green, lost a lap, and now the whole rest of the field is going to flood in here into the pit and have a regular routine stop, and Bobby Allison is going to stay 1 lap down. It was a very, very wrong shot, quite frankly, to have a stop on green in this race, quite honestly.
We'll try to get a report as to what happened. It looked like a tire might have equalized in the car. 18 laps will be complete this time by. 32 to go, 45 miles down.
And the whole field charges down pit road.
Eating time for the Elephants here. Car number 43, Petty. Let's go to the pits once again. Larry Newbert.
Position on a pit row. Petty comes to a stop. He'll take advantage of this caution flag. You see complete service being issued to Richard Petty. Ned Jarrett at the other end of pit row.
Jeff Bodine was in for a very, very quick pit stop in. We're surprised. Four of these drivers are not changing tires. They looked at the tires on Jeff Bodine's car and sent him right on his way. Now let's back to Larry Newbert.
Well, they've already serviced the starboard side of Richard Petty's car. Now they're working on the port side. This is, believe it or not, a relatively leisure pit stop. We've got a caution flag here, and the Petty crew is taking full advantage of all these precious seconds that are being provided them at a relatively leisure pace.
Let's look at what happened to the runner from Tennessee, Darrell Sage, in number 86, as you see his car resting down on the back side of the track. Way on the right of the frame is where it begins, David.
There we see them coming off that treacherous turn 2, which has already caught out at least 4 cars. Starts to come away from the wall, grabs a handful of opposite locks, and bounces down that outside wall without collecting anybody else. Extraordinary lucky. Maybe his hood was already coming up even when the action started. Maybe that's what made him lose, because his hood blew off before he hit him.
The Chevrolet of Darrell Sage resting midway down the backstretch here at Daytona. He is qualified at 188 miles an hour and started in the 27th position, and he will not be in the 25th annual Daytona 500. When they come by, the green will come out, and they will proceed at 22 laps, 55 miles, 28 laps, 70 miles to go in the second 125-mile qualifying race for the richest stock car race in the world, the Daytona 525th anniversary program. Back they come to line, and there you see on the outside, Dale Yarborough taking a shot as they line them up. Dale's on his way, pulling around Tom Speedway. 14th as they take a bite out of number 32, Bosco Low, and whip by him. Up in front, there's your leader. It is Cale Yarborough, but the lead still is. He's trying to take the lap back to Bobby Allison, and Neil Bonnet comes along with it. Oh, he just touched it. The Alabama gang. They're supposed to be friends. Bobby Allison is Neil Bonnet. That's his mentor he's running into there. Now all Bobby Allison's got to do is go around one more time and catch this one up again. He can win this race. What Bobby Allison needs now, like he needs oxygen, of course, is another caution while he is where he is now in front, which will give him his lap back. 6 cars in the lead draft, plus a lap car. And there you see number 90, the blue car down the inside, dropping through and trying to pick up the spot. That's Richard Brooks as they head down the back straightaway. Richard Brooks trying to fight his way through with light speed, and there is Neil Bonnet, the new leader of the race, trying to put Allison a lap down. And Cale Yarborough coming up in the second spot, also underneath Bobby Allison. Remember, and Bobby Allison, number 22, is on the tail end of the lap. Now he is position back, and he'll have one of the front 2 cars. 24 laps complete, this time by 60 miles. Richard Brooks falls back a bit in the Junior Dunleavy Ford. Halfway next time by. Richard Petty still attacking. Trying to come from back now after that pit stop. And Richard Petty and Tim Richards are making a fantastic run through the field. There are the leaders. Neil Bonnet. Last win for him, the World 600, Charlotte, North Carolina, last Memorial Day.